The Millionaire Fastlane by DeMarco. Picture this. You're a teenager, maybe carrying a few extra pounds, strolling toward the local ice cream shop on a lazy summer afternoon. Then you see it, parked right out front, gleaming like something out of a fever dream, sits a Lamborghini Countach. The exact car plastered across your bedroom wall. The car you've only ever touched in magazines. And it's just sitting there, real, touchable. You freeze, mid-step, completely mesmerized, when a young guy, maybe 25, walks out of the shop. He's wearing jeans and a flannel shirt. No way, this is the owner, right? You're expecting some silver-haired mogul. But he walks straight to the car and, with a casual smile, opens the door. And the door swings up, not out. Your heart's hammering now. Every fiber of your being screams to keep walking. Don't be that kid who bothers strangers. But there's this tiny, reckless voice in your head whispering, just ask him. So you do. You approach, voice shaking slightly, and blurt out the question that'll reshape your entire life. Excuse me, what do you do for a living? The young man smiles warmly and gives a brief, almost mundane answer. But that answer detonates everything you've been spoon-fed about money, careers, and building wealth. That young man was DeMarco, and that moment lit the fuse on his quest to decode wealth creation. Today, I'm sharing that code with you. By the time we're done, you'll understand the 3 hidden financial roadmaps that secretly govern everyone's financial destiny. You'll see why the conventional path you're being sold in school, the whole get a solid job, stash away 10%, max out your 401k routine, is actually a 50-year gamble for a prize you might be too exhausted to enjoy. More importantly, you'll discover the 3rd path, the road less crowded, the one DeMarco calls the Millionaire Fastlane. This isn't some fairy tale about getting rich without effort. It's about getting rich fast, by mastering the unchangeable laws of value, leverage, and control. This is the actual playbook wealthy people use to build fortunes in 5 to 10 years, not 50. And it begins with accepting a harsh truth. You've been sold a beautifully packaged lie. Ever watched those celebrity home tours where they showcase some 22-year-old's mansion? The host wanders through an 8,000-square-foot palace, gesturing at the fleet of Ferraris and Rolls-Royces lining the driveway, and asks the obvious question, so, how'd you afford all this? Imagine if the young celebrity looked straight into the camera and deadpanned, well, you know, I got rich by religiously saving 10% of my paycheck from my cell phone store job, maxing out my 401k and clipping Sunday coupons. You'd burst out laughing, right? It sounds absurd. We intuitively understand that young people don't accumulate wealth that way. Young wealth, we're constantly reminded, belongs to a select club. The athletes, the movie stars, the chart-topping musicians. For everyone else, there's another blueprint. A much, much slower blueprint. DeMarco labels this approach the Slowlane. It's the guidance your parents, teachers, and every financial talking head on television endlessly repeats. It sounds sensible. It sounds bulletproof. The prescription is simple. Attend school, earn good grades, land a solid job, save diligently, invest in the stock market, and then someday, when you're 65 and gray, you'll finally be wealthy. DeMarco calls this the get-rich-slow doctrine, or more bluntly, wealth in a wheelchair. It's a strategy demanding you sacrifice the prime years of your life, your youth, your vitality, your wildest dreams, for the promise of a comfortable retirement during your twilight years. You're surrendering your todays for a tomorrow that isn't even guaranteed to arrive. Consider the underlying exchange. You labor 5 days weekly at a job you probably tolerate at best, just to earn 2 days of freedom each weekend. DeMarco calls this the quote, 5 for 2 trade. You're surrendering 5 days of your existence to reclaim 2. That's a negative 60% return on your time, repeating week after week for 50 years. People practically throw parties on Friday, shouting, "Thank God it's Friday," because they're celebrating a temporary release from a 5-day prison sentence. The fundamental flaw with the Slowlane isn't merely that it's slow, it's that it's mathematically engineered to never produce rapid wealth. The Slowlane wealth equation looks like this. Wealth equals your job plus market investments. Let's unpack that. Your job income represents your intrinsic value, measured entirely in time, either your hourly rate or annual salary. The problem? You can't leverage time. There are only 24 hours in a day, and only so many productive years in a lifetime. You can't magically decide to work 400 hours in a single day to boost your income. The mathematics are fundamentally capped. The other component is market investments, things like stocks and mutual funds, which depend on compound interest. The financial gurus adore showing you projections. Invest $100 monthly, and in 50 years, you'll have $1 million. But again, the critical variable is time, decades of it, and you have zero control. You can't command the stock market to deliver a 2,000% return this year. You're strapped into a roller coaster someone else designed, praying it doesn't derail right before you're ready to exit. DeMarco calls this fatal limitation, uncontrollable limited leverage, or ULL. Your wealth depends on variables you can't control, the market, your boss, and can't leverage, your time. If this is your blueprint, DeMarco quips, ULL never get rich young. But there's another path most people stumble down without even realizing it's a choice. This is the sidewalk. The sidewalker operates without any financial plan whatsoever. Their philosophy is beautifully simple. Live for today, tomorrow can sort itself out. Any surplus cash immediately vanishes on the latest gadget, the next vacation, the newest car. They're imprisoned in what DeMarco calls lifestyle servitude, where their craving for instant gratification constructs a mountain of debt. The sidewalker's wealth equation is even grimmer. Wealth equals income plus debt. They leverage credit to supplement their income, excavating a deeper financial hole each month. Sidewalkers can be income poor, barely making ends meet, or they can be income rich. Picture the famous athlete who earns $80 million and declares bankruptcy 3 years after retirement. More money doesn't fix the underlying problem if your financial roadmap is fundamentally broken. Poor money management is like gambling. The house always wins eventually. Both the sidewalk and the Slowlane are losing strategies. One mortgages your future for fleeting present pleasures. The other mortgages your vibrant present for a future that may never materialize. So what's the third option? This takes us back to that teenager mesmerized by the Lamborghini. That was young MJ DeMarco. When he asked the owner what he did, the man didn't claim to be a professional athlete or actor. He simply replied, "I'm an inventor." In that instant, a completely new neural pathway ignited in DeMarco's brain. He realized that wealth wasn't exclusively reserved for the famous. It belonged to creators, to producers. This single revelation launched him on a years-long odyssey to understand how ordinary people achieved extraordinary wealth quickly. He devoured books, studied young millionaires, and survived a string of failures and dead-end jobs, from limousine driver to pizza delivery guy, all while attempting to crack the code. And he succeeded. The code is the fast lane. The fast lane isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. It's a business and lifestyle strategy built on a completely different belief system and, most critically, a different mathematical equation. It's about switching teams from being a consumer to becoming a producer. The world consists of a tiny minority of producers and an enormous majority of consumers. Consumers grow poor. Producers grow rich. To access the fast lane, you must stop thinking like someone who purchases products and start thinking like someone who sells them. Instead of digging for gold, you sell the shovels. Instead of taking a class, you teach one. Instead of hunting for a job, you create jobs. When you become a producer, you launch your own business. But not just any business. A fast lane business is a system engineered to separate your income from your time. It's a money tree bearing fruit around the clock, whether you're working, sleeping, or vacationing. The fast lane wealth equation looks like this. Wealth equals net profit plus asset value. Let's dig deeper. Net profit breaks down into two straightforward variables. Net profit equals units sold times unit profit. This is where the magic happens. Unlike the Slowlane equation, which hits a ceiling because of time constraints, this equation offers controllable, unlimited leverage, or CUL. DeMarco shares the example of his first successful internet company, a limousine directory. He attracted about 12,000 visitors to his site daily. His units sold variable had an upper ceiling of 12,000 per day. Compare that to the Slowlaner's 24 hours, 12,000 versus 24. It's not even remotely competitive, and here's the beautiful part. He controlled everything. If he wanted to earn more money, he didn't need to grovel to a boss for a measly 3% raise. He had multiple levers. He could optimize his conversion rate. A tiny 1% improvement translated to an instant raise of thousands of dollars monthly. He could amplify his web traffic. He could adjust his pricing. A modest tweak in any of these variables could explode his income. He sat firmly in the driver's seat. The other component of the fast lane equation is asset value. A fast lane business isn't merely a cash-generating machine. It's a valuable asset you can eventually sell. That asset's value typically calculates as asset value equals net profit times industry multiplier. Every industry has a multiplier. If your business generates a net profit of $1 million annually, and your industry multiplier is 4, your business is worth $4 million. This means every single dollar of profit you add to your business multiplies its value by 4. Can you achieve a 400% return in the stock market? Not remotely. This is how fastlaners build massive net worths and create what DeMarco calls liquidation events, selling their business for a life-altering sum. This is how the wealthy actually get wealthy. They don't penny-pinch their way to millions over 4 decades. They construct a controllable, scalable asset and then sell it. So how do you build something like this? How do you plant a money tree? DeMarco says your business must become a system capable of operating without your constant presence. He identifies 5 powerful business seedlings that can mature into money trees. 1. Rental systems. This includes real estate, but also licensing a patent or collecting royalties on a song or book. You create something once, and it pays you repeatedly. 2. Computer/software systems. This is the interstate highway of the fast lane. The internet has minted more millionaires in the last decade than any other medium. A website, an app, or software can serve millions globally, around the clock, and it never complains or demands a raise. 3. Content systems. writing a book, launching a blog, or starting a YouTube channel all qualify as content systems. Information, like software, can be effortlessly replicated and distributed to millions. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, transformed from a struggling single mother to a billionaire because she created a content system that touched hundreds of millions of lives. 4. Distribution systems. This encompasses any structure moving products to the masses. Amazon is a distribution system. Creating a franchise builds a distribution system. So does founding a network marketing company. Founding one, not joining someone else's. If you invent an amazing product, that's only half the battle. Getting it into millions of hands requires a powerful distribution system. 5. Human resource systems. This means hiring people to operate your business for you. This is the most complex and expensive system to manage, but for a business to scale to truly massive heights, it's almost always necessary. The goal is having your employees nurture your money tree, liberating your time. To ensure your business road is a genuine Fastlane, DeMarco lays out the 5 Fastlane commandments, abbreviated as NECST. N is for need. This is the most critical commandment. 90% of new businesses collapse because they're built on the owner's selfish desires. I want to pursue my passion, or I just want to make money, instead of solving an actual marketplace need. Stop chasing money. Chase needs. Solve problems for millions of people, and you'll earn millions. The world doesn't care about your passions. It cares about what your business can do for them. Solve a pain point, fill a service gap, or make someone's life easier, and money will be magnetically attracted to you. E is for entry. How difficult is entering your chosen business? If anyone can launch your business in an afternoon with a $200 starter kit, the commandment of entry is violated. Easy entry creates overwhelming competition, congested markets, and razor-thin profit margins. Think network marketing or selling on eBay. Everyone's doing it, which is a massive red flag. A legitimate business startup is a process, not an event. There should be barriers, tolls to be paid, that keep the masses out. C is for control. You must occupy the driver's seat of your business, not hitchhike. If you're involved in an MLM, an affiliate program, or a franchise, you're a passenger in someone else's fast lane. They control the product, the pricing, and the rules. If they decide to alter the compensation plan or discontinue a product, your income can evaporate overnight. Hitchhikers can earn decent money, but the driver always earns the real wealth and retains control. S is for scale. Can your business serve millions? Or is it confined to a small local neighborhood? A hairdresser can only serve so many clients daily. That's a small habitat, a tiny pond. To build real wealth, you need to play in the ocean. The internet is the ultimate ocean. A local restaurant has no scale. But if you franchise that restaurant into a national chain of 500 locations, you've created scale. Your business must have a high speed limit. T is for time. Can your business operate without your constant involvement? Does it function when you're absent? If you own a business demanding your presence 80 hours weekly just to keep it breathing, you don't own a business, you own a job. And it's often the worst, most demanding job imaginable. Your business must be built on a system, one of the 5 seedlings, that can eventually be automated or managed by others, divorcing it from your time. These commandments are the litmus test for any business concept. A business satisfying all 5 is a pure fast lane, a superhighway to wealth. But having the right map and the right vehicle isn't enough. You have to learn how to drive. And driving the fast lane is all about execution. DeMarco is refreshingly blunt. Ideas are worthless. They're neurological flatulence. Everyone has ideas. The difference between the person whining, "I had that idea first," and the person who made millions from it boils down to one thing: execution. Execution is the process. It's the grinding work, the exhausting hours, the sacrifices. It's extracting that idea from your head and making it tangible. He argues you should burn your business plan. A 100-page business plan is just an idea on steroids. The instant you execute, the real world, the actual marketplace, will demonstrate that your plan is wrong. The market will steer you in directions you never anticipated. Instead of endlessly planning, just do. Launch your product and listen to the feedback. Especially the complaints. Complaints, DeMarco insists, are gold. They're free feedback, exposing unmet needs. He maintained a black book documenting every complaint he ever received. One complaint meant 10 other people felt identically. By listening to this road noise, he constantly improved his service, added value, and pulled ahead of competitors. One of the most powerful execution strategies is through exceptional customer service. In a world where customer service generally sucks, you have a massive opportunity. DeMarco calls this sucks superior unexpected customer service. When you violate a customer's low expectations in a positive way, by answering an email within minutes, not days, by having a real human answer the phone, you don't just create a customer, you create a disciple, a raving fan who becomes a free, passionate evangelist for your brand. Finally, to build genuine speed on the fast lane, you must be monogamous with your business. Too many aspiring entrepreneurs suffer from shiny object syndrome, leaping from one glittering opportunity to the next, scattering their focus. This produces scattered results. Instead of managing 20 mediocre businesses, focus obsessively on one business and absolutely dominate it. Eat, sleep, and breathe your thing. The most successful entrepreneurs worldwide became masters of one domain first. Only after achieving massive success did they diversify their interests. The fast lane is a choice. It's a commitment to a process. It's understanding that you are the driver of your life, and your choices are the steering wheel. It's about turning your back on society's headwinds, constantly pushing you toward mediocrity, and instead finding the courage to take the road less traveled. It won't be easy. There will be failures. There will be brick walls. But, as DeMarco learned, those brick walls aren't there to keep you out. They're there to stop the people who don't want it badly enough. They're there to stop everyone else. The fast lane is your opportunity to prove you're not one of them. So what do we actually take away from all this? If there's one transformative idea at the heart of the Millionaire Fastlane, it's the profound shift from being a passive consumer of the world to becoming an active producer. It's a fundamental identity change. DeMarco isn't just handing you a collection of business tactics. He's offering you a new pair of glasses and asking you to see the world differently. For years, we're conditioned to follow a script, earn the grades, land the job, contribute to the 401k, and cross your fingers. We're trained to be cogs in someone else's machine. This book presents a powerful argument that the safest, most reliable path to wealth is actually building the machine. It feels riskier, but as DeMarco points out, is a traditional job really safe? Can you be fired? Can your company collapse? Can a market crash obliterate 20 years of savings? The slow lane is packed with risks you can't control. The fast lane is about taking calculated risks that you do control. The most powerful lesson for me is the concept of process over events. We live in a society obsessed with glorifying the event, the lottery jackpot, the overnight success, the billion-dollar IPO. We see the finish line, but we completely ignore the grueling marathon that led there. DeMarco reminds us that every significant success results from a long, often brutal process. There are no shortcuts around the work itself, but the work can create a shortcut to wealth. So how can you start applying this immediately, right now, even if you're just beginning? Here are a few simple actions. First, for the next 24 hours, wear your producer glasses. Every time you see an advertisement, purchase a product, or use a service, ask yourself, what need is this solving? How is this business generating money? Who's the customer? How could I improve this? This simple mental shift will begin revealing countless opportunities hidden in plain sight all around you. Second, start listening for the language of opportunity. Pay close attention when you or someone else says, "I hate this," "This is awful," or "I wish there was something better." These phrases aren't just complaints. They're signposts pointing directly toward unmet needs. Grab a notebook and start documenting them. This is how you find your open road. Your next great business idea won't arrive as a flash of genius. It'll come from solving a real problem. And finally, take inventory of your most precious asset, your time. For 1 week, track how much of your time is indentured and how much is genuinely free. How much time are you trading for money? And how are you investing the time that's truly yours? Are you putting it toward learning, growing, and building something for your future? Or is it evaporating into distractions, providing zero long-term value? The answer might be uncomfortable, but it's the first step toward reclaiming your life. That was a summary of The Millionaire Fastlane by M.J. DeMarco. We've journeyed through the core ideas today, but I need to be honest with you. A summary is like viewing a postcard of the Grand Canyon. It gives you a glimpse of the majesty, but it can never replace the feeling of standing on the edge yourself. The real power of this book lies in the details, the stories, and the mindset shifts that happen when you immerse yourself in its pages. This summary is your map, but the treasure is found by taking the journey. If any of the ideas we've discussed today sparked something in you, I strongly encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that could fundamentally change the road you're on. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and growing together.